Milan and I lived here until I was 17, and then I moved back in 2020 by chance. And I never really thought I was going to move back to Milan because, you know, usually the place where you grew up in is not where you want to go back. But there was a sort of constant pull and charm to the city that I felt I hadn't maybe finished exploring. So when I ended here by chance in 2020, after years in London, I thought it might be a good place to start. And I moved back into the area where I grew up, which is here in Porta Genova. My mother's from London. She's Scottish-Irish, but was born and raised in London, and my father is Milanese. So I grew up with the sort of duality of London and Milan. Milan helped me, in some way, it enhanced my rebellious spirit, but at the same time, there's an elegance to Milan that is difficult to find elsewhere. And so I think managing to combine sort of the London craziness and energy with, you know, the Milanese discreet charm is really where the trick is. The first gallery serious job I found for a gallery was for an Italian gallery, for Massimo De Carlo, and they were looking for someone who was based in London and could go between London and Milan. And so in some way it did define my career, because then I started traveling to Milan for work and living Milan as an adult and not as a stroppy teenager anymore. On the first impact, Milan feels very cold and sort of like, you know, slightly inaccessible if you don't have friends from here and if you don't know anyone. But I feel that increasingly throughout time it's become more fun, and there's lots of clubs and a good queer community, which makes the difference in a city. Sometimes, you know, when people come to visit and they ask, oh, what are we doing? And I realize I'm actually quite boring in some way, because when I am in Milan, I just like to go to the same places I always go to. And also I'm very local, so I like to be in my quartiere and, you know, go to the places in my quartiere. Everyone who I know who's been to see me has been here. And then I like to go to Paul di Pezzoli Museum, it's one of my favorites. I really like Il Museo del Novecento as well, they always have some good shows on. Probably I'd take them to see some galleries. There's a lot of emerging galleries at the moment in Milan, which is nice. And there's also just very good established galleries that have great shows on. I used to come here with my grandfather a lot, and then I come a lot with my dad still. It's kind of, I don't know, we all love champagne in the family, so it's a great place to have a glass of champagne. And also, you know, you might meet someone you know on a peak sort of Friday night, but normally it's not that sceney, you know, so you can feel very at ease and very relaxed. It's not a place where you necessarily come to be seen, you just come to meet friends. And I just love the fact that it doesn't change, the prices remain unchanged, and the service is great, and the people are nice. So that's why I love it. I hope it never changes. It has this good mix between being an international city and a little bit un paesino di provincia, like a small town. So I think that's a beautiful balance of the city, and it does keep you grounded, because, you know, you have this kind of very high-paced rhythm dictated by your job or, you know, the city, but at the same time you can have the most relaxed paesino lifestyle. I like the fact that you don't in Milan necessarily have to plan things like you would in London or in New York. It's spontaneous, and I think spontaneous makes for a good quality of life.